když bude končit ta Noxus sezóna, tak třeba v tom posledním splitu udělají jednu půlku mapy Demáci a druhou půlku mapy Noxus třeba, ne? To by bylo cool, co? Či? Ta Katka vypadá jak ten leprovej král, že jo? Riot pořád omylem odhaluje nový věci.
I don't know. So, literally in the last video, we talked about how Riot accidentally teased the next champion. Or at least it seemed to be an accident, because they told us about...
Tam je ta darkinská zbraň, ne, jakási, kterou hledá LeBlanc. Aspoň co z těch kartiček, jako, co z těch karet, jako, tak vzešlo.
This is all related to a chain of events that started at the beginning of this season. And now there was another strange teaser, but
co to je?
this time it was likely intentional, and if it was, then that was not something I expected. Anyway, the point being that after all of these events, people started putting some dots together, and now it is likely that we know where we are going next after the Noxian season. Now first, I have to say, this has been quite an eventful week. 2XKO got an hour-long update where they talk about some big changes to the game. There is a lot we can mention there. Of course, there are the monetization updates, the potential leaks, and I'm just sad I didn't even get a chance to talk about the new TFT set, because they introduced some new cosmetics and it opened up a whole new world of monetization. Instead, today we are focusing on what the next season is likely going to be, but more importantly, looking at what exactly happened this season, we can start to guess what kind of content we might be getting next. So without further ado, let's get into all of this. Let's start going through.
Jak teďka začal druhý split té Noxus sezóny, nebo druhá sezóna Noxu, nebo co to je? A ta další bude taky Noxus, nebo já to jak si nepobírám? Že jsem si myslel, že má být jako celý rok jako Noxus sezóna a má to mít 3 akty a teď je druhý. A pak bude ještě třetí Noxus, nebo já nevím, já v tom mám guláš. Začal jakoby druhý akt Noxu, jo, máme teďka jakoby turety s černou růží, nebo co to je? A nevím, jestli jako za další 3 měsíce tam bude už třeba Ionie, vole to téma, té mapy, nebo nevím actually.
All the evidence in chronological order. After the Noxian season initially launched, everyone agreed that this just looks awesome. Which did...
No, jako vypadalo, ale jako ta mapa je strašně tmavá, blbě se na tom hraje. Už bych chtěl zpátky tu zelenou, teda. A to už říkám kámo posledního 4 roku a furt jakoby nic, no.
Quickly crumble for a really big reason. Mainly it's the fact that the new progression system and monetization had quite a few holes. But besides the Hextech chest incident and the blue essence incident, as well as the battle pass incident, as well as the quality skin incident, the new Noxian theme was pretty good.
Plná prdel incidentů.
The shifting of Summoner's Rift felt so refreshing, which is something they first teased after they gave us the Changing Baron and the new Rift Herald. So we thought that this kind of map overhaul could be possible, but to actually see...
Já si nepamatuju, co ti baroni jakoby dělají jinak. Jestli každý ten baron má vlastně jiný buff trošku, nebo já nevím ani. Já vím, že ten pit vypadá jinak, ale...
The new Summoner's Rift was wild. But even this part faced one big criticism, which gave us the first clue. You see, people were not...
Že by to chtěl lepší tématiku, jako na ta Noxus tématika je fajn, ale ta mapa je prostě hnusná, no. Nebo ne, že hnusná, ale tmavá, moc tmavá je, kurva. Ta Ionie bude určitě světlá, to si myslím taky. Kdyby to byla Demácie, tak bude taky světlá. Kdyby to byly třeba stínový ostrovy, tak to už nevím, no. To záleží, no.
Massive fans of the
písečná mapa se šurimi jako zní to zajímavě, no, asi. Nevím, no.
Dire Summoner's Rift just being brown and red.
Freljord by vypadal jako, prostě jako zimní mapa, no, jako vánoční. To by bylo asi dost podobný, no.
And I'll be honest, I was totally fine with this drastic change. In fact, I was a fan of this massive change of tone. But I will...
Jako, je to fajn, no, jako, líbilo se mi, že prostě dělají něco novýho. To je jako super. Bylo jako fajn hrát na něčem novým zase. Ale ta hnědá mapa, prostě tam nejdou vidět skillshoty, je to takový škaredý, no. Je to jak hrát prostě na dark modu, akorát na 200% máš ten dark mode, no.
Agree that after Riot toned it down in the second act, they did find a good balance for these.
Je to teďka snesitelnější o dost, tak to se trochu sesvětlilo, no.
Kinds of visuals. What's important here is that people didn't really like the aggressive vibes of Noxus, especially around the new First Blood with all the feats of strength, as well as Atakan being a new early game objective. Overall, the season did feel more try-hard.
Pozor, Jsem se poslal.
And so,
Tryhardy, no, protože musíš pikovat early champion a furt non-stop fightit, protože tam je furt non-stop nějaký objektiv, no.
to calm everyone down, in the one video where Riot gave us all the updates on Act 2 of the Noxian season, they also teased the next season after this. And they mentioned that all the people who didn't like it shouldn't worry because the next season would be a lot more laid back. And with this quote, they immediately opened up a lot of choices. Because while they mentioned that not every season has to be part of the canonical universe, and so it's possible that we may get an alternative universe, which means skins, with the way the story is developing, it still seems like we are somewhere on Runeterra. And so people realized there aren't that many locations that can be considered a chill on Runeterra. Obvious Freljord jokes aside. I mean, Bandle City, maybe.
Bandle City, no, ale on je takový. Ten by vypadal hodně jako klasický Samuel Rift, no. Takový zelený prostě, no. Zelený, stromečky, barvičky.
Bandle City, maybe.
Neumím si představit, jak by vypadaly jordlovský turety třeba.
Possibly Ionia, or maybe Targon if you go sightseeing. Well, that's the
A i ta demácie je taková jako světlejšího vizuálu, řekněme.
thing. If you really try, you can make any region chill. It will all depend on what kind of a storyline you want to explore here. Because even in Demacia, besides the war on mages, or dragons, or Noxians, I bet there are at least some parts of Demacia that are just fun, which kinda...
Co by mohlo udělat, že když bude končit ta Noxus sezóna, tak třeba v tom posledním splitu udělají jednu půlku mapy Demaci a druhou půlku mapy Noxus třeba, ne? To by bylo cool, co? Či?
meant that even after Riot mentioned that we are going somewhere more calm, it didn't really tell us much. So next, all the teasers for the next champion started dropping in. LeBlanc started getting new voice lines where she was teasing a Darkin. Vladimir was suspiciously cautious of possible blood magic related to Darkin. The Demon's Hand minigame then came out, and indeed, once again, it was related to a Darkin. More specifically, LeBlanc was looking for a Darkin, and she wanted to learn how the entire binding magic works. And finally, at the very end of the comic in the Demon's Hand, we learned that the possible location of the Darkin is Ionia. That's right, that would be Darkin number 4 in Ionia. But up until now, all of these pieces of information were just breadcrumbs. Sure, things suspiciously started lining up towards our favorite
v Ionii je by the way Izolany vlastně, no. Někde by tam měla být.
Asian-themed continent. But there was no way to be certain about this. That was until another intern dropped this. Now, I know, an LEC video. How could that be possibly tied to any kind of leaking or teasing? Well, just like that one infamous Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones.
Starbucks cup v Game of Thrones.
This video too hides a secret. One which Riot potentially didn't think people would find so quickly. But they did, and now I am pretty sure it is all but confirmed where we are going next. You see, just like all the other LEC teasers, it's just people having fun. And I'll be honest, I kinda wish I knew more people from the esports scene because it seems like I'm missing out. The point is that with this video being on a reasonably high budget, they put some attention and detail into the props they use. And during all the scenes where they are getting their hair done, as a preparation for LEC I guess, they all started reading custom printed magazines. The thing is, these magazines hide a lot of Easter eggs around esports, so again, I'm missing out. But one of those magazines was special, because for literally only 1 second, we could see the full cover of it. And here it says this: "Bye bye Noxus, welcome to spring." Now this could still be teasing anything. Spring doesn't have to be Ionia, I bet they have spring in Demacia. So this is mostly just referring to the fact that the LEC...
Bye bye Noxus, welcome to spring. No, je tohleto, o čem je celý tohle video. Jenom tohle. To může znamenat něco, ale spíš to neznamená nic.
T is going into the spring season. But then the subtext hit us. 10 tips and tricks to woo your favorite Ionian. Upon reading this, everyone agreed? Yep, at this point it's not that surprising. But indeed, after all...
Nebo nás matou schválně. Tak jak s Arkanem a cinematikama na Arkane, nebo trailerama. Tam nás taky vždycky chtěli, že ho zmást. Tam vždycky to poskládali a nastříhali to tak, aby to vypadalo, že tam stane úplně něco jiného, než se tam pak stalo. Ale ta Ionia je jako... Jasně, po Noxu musí přijít buď to Ionia nebo Demacia, no. Takže tak.
These teasers. Once again, it seems like it is confirmed that we are going into Ionia next. Because again, on top of all of this is likely where...
Ionia bude cinkačka na skiny, protože Ionia je taková celá inspirovaná Asií, a teda hlavně Japonskem, že jo? No, spíš to Asii, řekněme. Co bude líp prodávat na asijském trhu, než prostě Ionia, že jo? A ionský skiny. Yeah.
LeBlanc is going as she's looking for a Darkin, and we know all of that thanks to Atakan. Which brings up a really important question. What the heck is this season gonna be about? They said it is gonna be more laid back, while it really sounds like we are getting another Noxian invasion. But what's even more interesting is that if we have a look at all the releases that led us through the Noxian season, we can now make some bold...
Ta Katka vypadá jak ten leprovej král, že jo?
...assumptions. For example, while I am not expecting any big cinematics like the one at the beginning of the season, it wouldn't be unthinkable to get some other smaller cinematics, right? Is it possible that Fortiche is gonna give us a taste of Ionia? I don't know. On top of this, should we get another update to Summoner's Rift? Remember that now things will be themed around Ionia, so expect a lot of green, blue and pink, which, to be fair, should be quite contrasty to the brown and red. With this, we should also think about all the new possible minigames that would come out after Demon's Hand. Again, we are talking about something themed around Ionia. And lastly, since everything is being tied together thematically in these seasons, who are gonna be the main characters for the Ionian season? And more importantly, how is Aphelios related to this? Because remember, it was confirmed that Aphelios is getting the next prestige skin. So let me tell you, unless that Aphelios and Set ship is getting canon, I have no idea what's going on.
A tenhle ten ship je jenom v rámci jejich skinů. Tyhle ty dva skiny, teda jakýsi skin na Seta a jiný skin na Aphelia jsou k sobě gay. Ale jinak gay nejsou, jako v normálním univerzu.
Maybe we get to see Shen using his spirity magic to help here? Maybe we could see Ari, because remember, all of these champions should get thematic skins, just like what happened in Noxus. And we all know that Ari could use another skin, right? Which also reminds me... There's gonna be another Exalted skin, right? Are we getting an Exalted skin for an Ionian champion? Because if it's not Ari, it's Akali, alright? But yes, I would also love to see Yone finally getting some payoff for all the stories. Because after...
Kdy vydal Yoneho? 2018? Ne, 2019 nebo 2020, že? Jeho story se taky nepohlalo nikam, tak jako většina příběhů.
After his dealing with Yasuo, nothing really happened to him. Although the one champion who really deserves a push forward is Syndra. Syndra has been just floating around Ionia with a floating castle and she never really did anything.
Je to tak, no. Syndra tam lítá, vole, s pevností, kterou vyzvedla ze země prostě, protože je mega mocná, ale jako 8 let nebude jí nějak updatenutý, no, takže prostě lítá, no.
And that is kinda where we are right now. Another day and another thing that got teased a little bit too early. And well, was this one bad? Not really. Honestly, I really appreciate these teasers that are a reward for those who are curious.
A jo, jako z tohohle to asi vypadá, že to bude Ionia, no, ale třeba ne. Třeba nás prostě matou schválně, no.
But I have to add, I did not expect any of this to be part of an LEC video. And at this point, if it is confirmed that we are not going into Ionia, and if it turns out to be Targon, then the fandom around Set and Aphelios is gonna be really sad.
Co vám řeknou komentáře? LeBlanc, time to meet Unleashed Syndra. Já si LeBlanc dostala podržce, nevím. Každopádně jdu já, už jsou 4 ráno. Ideální čas to zabalit.